Good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in to P2P Relates, where we talk about all things relationships. I'm Pat Renfro, and this week we're going to be talking about a different thing yet again. I hope you checked out last week. It was fire. I have to give myself that. And I did an excerpt on TikTok and got over 2,000 views just talking about setting short-term goals when you're waiting for something. So, hope you'll check it out. This week, we're going to talk about relationship advice. How to have strong, real relationships. That is so important today. I am at the opinion that we don't have enough advice given to us about relationships to prepare us. We just had graduations this week and last week. So we've got a bunch of our young people on their way to college. And they're going to be living it up. They're going to be doing all the boundaries that their parents taught them, and they're going to be stretching them potentially. And so I just wanted to talk about how to build real relationships as it relates to dating. The first thing I want to do is debunk the myth that if I just find my soulmate, we'll have ease, which is what I want in my relationship. I don't care how in sync you all are, which is important, how much you have in common and enjoy each other, and how much fun you're having right now. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to say there's no such thing as a soulmate, but I am going to tell you that whether you find them or not, they're going to get on your nerves. They're going to have differences of opinion. They're going to have different approaches to things in life, and you're going to have to do what? The work. Look at last 4 weeks ago now, for the last 3 sessions, I talked about be willing to do the work. I know the first 5 years of my marriage, I was convinced that I just met the wrong person because we had so many differences. But eventually we worked through them, and it was a lot of work. But we were able to work through them because we had that commitment. And so as you're dating, I covered the 12 areas to think about before you say I do, which I'll come out with the book at the end of the year. But I was encouraging you to think it through. Think through. You want to make sure you don't just assume, oh, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to hang in there and just really bear down and do what I got to do. Well, sometimes you shouldn't be trying to do the work. Sometimes the work is bigger than you. It's bigger than a successful relationship. So you look at those 12 things to think about before you say I do, to incorporate that. But then after you've done that, after you've picked the right person, you are in sync, you play together well, you work together well, you have the same issues and values. I'm getting ahead of myself. Then understand that the soulmate piece is just a very almost insignificant piece of the relationship. So the next area you want to look at is how to build a strong relationship. And I would say, keeping it simple, there's 2 things. You gotta have mutual respect and shared values. If one person idolizes the other, that's probably not long term. It's not gonna work. But both of you should be able to see the value of having each other. I should be able to say, being with this person makes me better. But me being with this person makes them better. And if we can't equally respect each other, run, Forrest, run. It's going to be a problem down the road. Somebody's going to be clingy. Somebody's going to be demanding. Somebody may be insecure. There's just all these kind of things that come up when there's a mismatch. And, you know, every week I tend to throw in a little more Bible stuff. And so it says, be ye equally yoked. But I do say there's so much more to unpack with that than just, oh, we both believe the same things and we both go to the same church, or we both don't, or whatever. No, it's deeper than that. It's like we need to look at levels of similarities and differences in maturities and accomplishments and all those things. Be yoked in the same vein of life or not. Go somewhere else. There's plenty of people in the world. Find the ones that are in alignment with you. And then the second piece is similar values. Those values really matter. I mean, if you're not moralistic, you don't want to get with a moralistic person. And if you are moralistic, you don't want to get with someone who's amoralistic. You need to have things that matter to both of you, and not just religion or spiritual matters. Whatever is super important to you. Maybe you're a person that came from a family where education was lacking, but you got your education, and now you need to know that that person you're getting with is equally vested in education, and that if you're going to have children, that's how you would raise them. That's just a small example of how important it is to have equal values, that they're in sync, that they kind of jive together. You're not going to be Bopsy twins. Like I always have said in other videos, if you're even a twin, you all are not going to see eye to eye about everything all the time. Nobody ever will. But you want to be similar enough that we have shared values. And then this last area, I want to speak specifically to young people. When it comes to relationships, be patient. And I want you to be patient on two fronts. The first one is be patient with yourself and your timing. If you're going to college and you just graduated from high school, you may have some ideals about what you're hoping will happen for an intimate relationship in your life. But are you ready for it? Are you ready for the work? Do you know who you are? Do you like yourself? Are you confident in the direction of life you're going? Do you know how to align what you've been raised by your parents all this time with whom you will connect yourself with? Or might you need to play and enjoy life and just learn even your discipline boundaries for when you're away at school, away from parents and rules and curfews and all that, and just get used to how you flow as a young adult before you get all entangled in some serious relationship. And if you do hookups, you got to realistically think about what that might mean down the road. So if you're going to do hookups, you just want to consider what some of the risks might be. Let's keep it real. There's plenty of disease going around. And if you're just thinking about the moment, there's a price to pay. Every moment that you have in your life, there's a price to pay. So you just might really want to contemplate and use wisdom about what decisions you make, because very few of them are just this far. Many of them go way, way past the time that you would prefer. So think hard and think long. The wisdom that you got from your parents in most cases is great enough to carry you a very long way. Don't ignore it. But let's get back. So the first one is making sure that you are patient with yourself. And then once you do get in a relationship, be patient, especially if it happens in your first year. My first year of college was wild, but careful, because I listened to my mom. And I didn't go to college planning to listen to my mom. I went to college thinking, oh, my mom's kind of old and she doesn't really, things change. Things are not like that, you know. And I got there and everything she told me was going to happen happened as if she had flown down there, checked it out, and ran back to tell me. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, I bet I am going to be listening to my mom. And it saved me a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. So I don't know what your mom told you, but I'm just going to say, in that way, be patient, slow down. Don't be so quick to get a hookup or so quick to get a boyfriend or girlfriend or just a romantic relationship that you cheat yourself of the focus you need when you first get there, of expectations that might not even be level set, of spending time too quickly in something too serious when you really need to be focused on how do I academically align myself so that I can have success and not have to repeat this year and waste the money of the thousands of dollars that I got either through a scholarship because I was so good in high school or through a student loan, which seems like it's going to be easy to pay off later because you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever the thing is that you think you're going to be. But those student loans are no joke, and they don't tell you that, just like they don't tell you about relationships. So just want to give you that patience piece. And then when you do end up in a relationship, maybe you meet your spouse, your mate in the first year. It doesn't mean you get married, but maybe you meet them and you all really are in sync and you really, really, really deeply grow together and love each other. Be patient with the process of all the acclimation and all the complications that come with that relationship, because if you're not patient and you rush it, or your expectations are not wise, and you're here and you want them to be there with you and they're not ready for all that, whatever, be patient with the work that it's going to take, because I'm telling you, whether you think you met your soulmate or not, there's work that has to be done no matter what. I'm finished. Thank you for staying to the end. And I just want to tell you, when you stay to the end in your relationships, when you've done the work, when you've looked at the 12 things to think about before you say I do, and then you get into a relationship and you make that commitment, oh my goodness, what a reward you have to look forward to. You have a companion. You have someone who loves you and has your back. You have mutual respect. You have eventually a family that you can duplicate and that you can sow into their lives and make them even better than you were. There's just so much. You grow old together. When you become sick, if that happens, or aged and can't function as well, they can be there for you and have your back, and you for them. There's so much beauty in longevity, and that's why I talk about the 12 things to think about before you say I do, because you want to pick well so that when you do make that commitment, it's gracious and rewarding, and it gives back time and time again. One of the things I want to challenge you to do this week is go find 3 people in your life that are in what you consider healthy relationships, and ask them, what might they have done differently when they met their partner, had they known what they know today? And that might help you level set the person that you're thinking about or that you want to connect with, so that you can have better success. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. Hit that subscribe button, tap that bell. I'll post every Friday. Take care.